Crafters, it's Janet with Crafting It Up in Creations, coming at you today with another DIY Christmas video. So I'm going to show you how to do a little makeover with these little cute Christmas houses and a little pond to go in the center of the houses. And the little pond, you could even do that separately and make it a separate craft as well. And I'm going to show you some different variances on that I did. But this is all the houses, and I've even used some of those LED string lights to put in them and scatter through this little scene here. And I've actually used 4 different ones. You probably wouldn't need as many, but some of the houses that I had from last year, the openings weren't as big, so you could see the light. Now, I love this barn, and as you can see, it was $1.82 from Walmart. There's a church, there's a beer pub, a couple of houses, there's a flower shop, there's Santa's feet sticking out of one, and even a fire station this year. So they have all different ones from what they even had last year at Walmart, because I bought the same kind of row of them last year, and last year it said tavern instead of beer pub. Now this is the Heirloom white Rustoleum, and then this is the pearl mist. The only place so far I can find this is like Home Depot or Lowe's or even like Hobby Lobby, and Michael's have had it. But you're going to give each of the houses about 2 coats of that heirloom white. Now, if you don't have an heirloom white, an ivory or some type of off-white does perfect. You could even do a white and it'll be fine. I just wanted something a little bit different from what the snow would be underneath of it. You know, like that blanket cover. Just so it would kind of stand out some, but not too much. So maybe not an almond, but something, you know, ivory. And like I say, you're going to want about 2 coats on these. And I always have to look back at them when I do my second coat and make sure I got up under the ridges, because that's where I typically tend to not land any paint for some reason. And I've just got these outside. It was a semi-cool day this day, but it dried fine. I waited a couple hours, did a second coat. And I brought them in because I want to show you the difference. Now, these first 2 don't have the pearl mist on them. And they're really pretty, just like that, just like they are. But this is what it looks like when you add that pearl mist to it. It just gives it this glowy, fresh snow look, I think. And so the one on the left is kind of dull, and the one on the right has that real pretty shine to it. And they both look great either way. It just depends on what you want. So this is a picture of all of them. I am going to go back and, of course, add that pearl mist to all of them. There's my wonderful barn. I just love that. I love the little stack beside it and everything. And everywhere where there's some snow like that, I'm going to end up putting glitter on it, just to add some more effects to that snow look. And there's the beer pub. Isn't that funny? It even looks like a little barrel. And there's my fire station. So I'm going to take these back outside, and it happened to be sunny the next day, and I wanted to show you the difference even in the sunlight, because sometimes it's hard to appreciate the difference in the houses in natural light, or you can better see it in the natural light than you can in the house with the fake light. And there it is again. And I just go over it with about 1 coat These I probably overdid it, but you really only need one coat. And so I'll bring these in, and I'm going to use that gloss Mod Podge you can get from the Dollar Tree. This is extra fine glitter from Recollections, and it's in the color Snow. And I'm going to flip this over to the side so you can kind of see how pretty white it is. And I'm going to use a brush from Walmart. This comes in like a pack of 10, I believe, but it has a plastic base to it. So if you're like me and you accidentally leave your brush with your glue in it for a few hours and it dries, you can take it back, soak it in some water, and get that glue right out of it. And it won't soak up into your wood base. And I'm going to take the Mod Podge and go over every area that has little tufts of snow. So every place there that it looks just a little different and you can tell that it's kind of built up, I'm going to put the Mod Podge on there, and then of course I'm going to sprinkle the glitter over that. And normally I would even put my Mod Podge in a little separate container like a cap, or even spill some on a scrap piece of paper so that if I get any glitter on afterwards, it won't get into my Mod Podge. I won't cross-contaminate it. Now I gave up on the sprinkle side and I'm like, oh gosh, let's just pour this on. This isn't working. And you definitely end up getting more than you want on there when you use the pour side. But I take a dry brush and I just brush over the areas that don't have the tufts of snow and brush it off. And on certain ones of these, you can kind of see little tufts of snow on the top of that like wood fence that's there. There's some trees that don't really look like they have any snow on them, so I did even put just a little bit of glitter on separate branches. And I go around all the edges of all the little houses or buildings, and I put some glitter along the bottom edge of it as well. This is probably one of the favorite things that I made last year, but I made it so close to Christmas. And I wasn't even doing videos at that time, but I made it so close to Christmas. I didn't even take pictures and share it on like my Facebook page or anything. There I am, dry brushing some of that off of there. And you could even take these back out and spray them with a sealer so that you don't have, any fallout on those. And now this is one of the mirrors from the Dollar Tree that they had to come out this past summer. It's in circular fashion. And then these are the little candle holder mirrors that you can typically find in the candle section. And we're going to end up using this ice crystals. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and it was $5.99, and it was 50% off, so I got it for $3. I thought that I might use that looking glass, but you could not tell when you sprayed it on there afterwards. So I spray this on here, and I'm looking at it, and I finally decide to read the directions, and it says to do it on the inside, not in the cool. And it really wasn't that cold that day, but I thought maybe I should transport these in the house to let them dry, and that's exactly what it needed. It needed probably about 20 to 30 minutes for this to come up with this effect, but it does look super cool. So I did some on the square and the octagon and even the small circle. So I think I'm going to make a couple little smaller scenes with a few of these and put them up in different areas. But you can see the difference between those two mirrors. And I decided, since I've got so many houses, that maybe I'll use the big pond. Now this was $6.99, but I got it 50% off at Michael's. A lot of Michael's and Joann's and AC Moore and Hobby Lobby, they put their things 50% off. So the prices are comparable to what Walmart has them as. They're all made in China. They're probably even made by the same people. Who knows? But I'm just going through and kind of showing you different ones that I've picked up and collected. I don't use all of these, but I wanted to show you just a variety of different ones that you can pick up. And I did pick a lot of these up from Walmart. This one's from Walmart, and it's like two little Scotty dogs next to the mailbox. And these are some Christmas signs. And I just love those. I wish I would have got a couple more, because if I do separate little pieces to do as gifts or even put up in the house, I would love to have these little signs. I just love them. These are a couple little tiny treasures from Michael's, and they're actually in the fairy section. But I thought the little deer were really cute, so I'm going to use one of those. This one's a best friend one. It was $2.96. And I just kind of look at the faces on them. And then, of course, make sure none of their arms or anything are broken. Now, this set was actually $6.96, but you get 2 benches, 4 sleighs, 2 lampposts, and a clock. So I didn't think that was a bad deal, because when I think about breaking it up and even using these on individual pieces or a couple on an individual piece, then it's cost efficient in that sense for me. And I look at these and I decide I definitely want to use one of those benches and one of the sleighs. So I kind of lay them out on the piece before I actually glue them down and decide where I want to put them. And I use my hot glue first to put these down. And then I went to do something and I bumped the little bench and it just came right off. And I'm like, oh no. So I ended up having to peel off the hot glue, and I ended up using some super glue, and I'll show you what I ended up using. Now this is just some buffalo snow. I've had it for years and I use a little bit out of it every time you turn around. That's why it's in a little Ziploc package. This is from Tiny Treasures from Michael's, and it's like a snow, and I love this stuff. It's really like plastic. This is Make It Christmas from Hobby Lobby. These are just little snowballs, and I love these. Now, and Dollar Tree has some too, but these have like a little bit of pieces stuck to them, so to me it just looks like real snow. But Dollar Tree has 2 different sizes of them that you can get there as well. Now, I will end up using that hot glue for other things, but in order to get the things to stick down to the mirror itself, I had to use this super glue. And it's the gel kind, and you get 2 in the pack for $1 from the Dollar Tree. And I really like the gel type better. Depends on your preference. But I tend to get the kind that's a little bit thinner all over my fingers or over something that I don't want it on. And here's where I'm going to have to pull that glue off. And it came off fairly easy. I struggled with it a little, but I finally got it all off so it would seated really well. I will use this hot glue to make me a little snowball mound underneath the North Pole sign. And I just put about 4 on the bottom, and I build it up into a little pyramid somewhat of snowballs. No real rhyme or reason. I just do whatever I think looks okay. Sometimes this works out and sometimes it doesn't. And I really like that. I thought it just added a little something to it. I may even go back and add a couple snowball mounds in other areas as well. And I do give this a good bit of super glue on the bottom of it and put it down there, and I hold it for a few minutes in place so that it kind of seals against it. And then just like before, I'm going to take that gloss Mod Podge and paint it all across this scene. Of course, this is downstairs, and before I was upstairs, so I've got a different brush now. But I paint around all the edges with the snow because I still kind of want it to look kind of like a pond in the center. And I put it over top of a paper towel so that when I put the flakes on there, I can kind of tip it up sideways and then put the excess back into the jar. And it doesn't look like a whole lot in the jar, but this will go a long way, I feel like. If you don't even have like a Michael's nearby, I did see a comparable variation of this at Walmart yesterday that was in a much bigger bag. So if you even had other areas that you wanted to put this down at, you'd probably be better off buying it there. And I want to say it was $3 or a little less than $3 for that bag of snow. And I almost bought it, but then I got to thinking that I had all those little snowballs. I had this, and I had the buffalo snow, and that I would just make do with what I had now. If it comes to after Christmas and I've used a lot of this, maybe I'll go back and try to find it on clearance or something. And then I add this little flocking with glitter in it to it. This is from a Christmas flitter pack from Hobby Lobby. It was 50% off, so it was only $2. You got the white, green, and the red. But it has some flocking in with the glitter, and I just kind of go over it. And anywhere that I saw any excess glue that the other snow didn't stick to, then I made sure to pour extra on it there. And I just go all the way around the entire perimeter with this as well. And I love the way it turned out. I think it really did add a little extra something to it because it kind of looks like little bits of snow that, when it snows and the wind blows and you see a little bit of it kind of go across the top of the snow. That's what it made me feel like. And I'll show you what the end result here in just a minute of that. And you can see I didn't use a whole lot of it. I decided to put some on the little arm of the bench as well, just to kind of add to it. I had a little bit of excess left over, and I just kind of pinched it and put it on there and added it to it. Now, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. And if you like these type of videos, make sure you click that like button. It lets YouTube know what type of videos you like, and of course it helps out my channel, but it also gives you other suggestions of people who make like or similar projects to mine, and introduces you to a whole lot of other crafters. And here's the end result of this. And I just love it. I think it looks really good. So I'm going to add it to the center of all of my houses. Now I have used just a white base underneath. You can get that at Walmart. That little fence in the back I got from Hobby Lobby for $2. It's $3.99, but it's on sale right now, 50% off. And I've added some of the other little pieces in and around my little village. And then some of that fluffier snow, it has some glitter in it, or some of the buffalo snow mixed in it, but I kind of put it along the edges so it didn't look so harsh along the edge where that white sheet ended. And I ended up using it to hide the lights under as well. And I got a couple of the little bottleneck trees. And this is the picture of it after I added the lights. And these were the LED on the wire, and I used the silver. I tried to see if I could even put tea lights up under them because they do kind of have like a hole in the bottom of them, but they're too big. But I love how this turned out. Like I say, I'm going to make a couple other little different scenes maybe. And I may share that in a different video with you guys to show other things you can do with them if you don't have a place where you can put a whole bunch of houses. You know, maybe we could do a couple houses here and there. And I turn the lights off to show kind of what it looks like lit up. And that's it. If you stuck with me throughout this whole video, thanks so much for being here. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. And stick around. I'll have a bunch more Christmas stuff coming up. Take care.